Okay, we're going to talk about another portion of Here Comes the Sun. We're going to talk about if we were just playing rhythm guitar. Okay, this would be with no capo. So I have played this song with other people, and sometimes you have the guy with the capo up here doing the intro, you know, the first thing we looked at when we did this song. And then somebody else is down here just playing standard rhythm guitar. So that's what we're going to talk about today because it's a good thing to know. It'll give you something different to practice too, other than what you've been practicing. So it's interesting to look at. So where this comes in the song is we have to imagine that somebody's playing that high intro, and then where the song starts, where he actually starts singing Here Comes the Sun, that first chorus, that's where these chords would come in. The A for two measures, D for a measure, B7 for a measure, A for a measure. Okay, so like I said, imagine somebody played the intro, that whole thing, and then George starts singing, and we're on the A chord here, and that's where he starts right on the word Here Comes the Sun. Here comes the sun, do 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 do, right there. Okay, so when you're playing that very beginning part, you could strum through that using the strum that we've talked about using, that up, down, which is what I would use for this song. Or you could just play one strum for each measure just at the very beginning. Once the song actually gets going, you'll want to strum along. But you could do basically a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 to the D, B7, back to the A. Okay, or you could strum it 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. And then comes in that little thing that happens all the time. Except now we're going to play it down here in first position. Now you're coming off of this A chord here, so that first note would be with your first finger, that second fret there at the end of that fourth measure on the first line. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going from that second fret up to that fourth fret on the second line, and then we would just play that in the same way with the same rhythm that we played it when we played it up high with the capo. Okay, so we're coming off this A chord. Now the way I like to, the fingers that I like to use is come off that first finger to the ring finger, like that, ring first and open. Then I take this middle finger, which is free, and I drop it back down onto the second fret and the ring finger on the next string to play the 2-2 open. Then lift up, back down, and then we play the last 4 notes. Ring, ring, first. And that puts our first finger back there, ready to play that A chord again. Okay? So it would be and hit a strum like that, or you could just come back and hit just the open A note, and then continue on with the strum. It'd be the same rhythm. It would still be 1, 2, and 4. like I said, you can come back and just play the open A. 1, 2, and 4. Same thing. So I'm going to play those first two lines. Once again, this is where the singing starts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes this. Then we get to the third line, which is the verse, Little Darling. Looking at that first line again, we have the A, D, B7. We get back to the A. When you're playing that A note in the final measure of that first line, 1, 2, and 4, that pickup, you know, that individual note, that second fret comes right in on the end of 4. 1, 2, and 4, and 1. When you get to the fourth fret in the second line, you're on the first beat of the next measure. 1, 2, and 4, and 1. Okay? So we continue on. I'm going to pick it up at the third line. We're just playing from A to D to E, and those changes should be smooth. Got the A chord, slide the ring finger up to the D chord, slide the first finger back to the E chord. Right? I'll play those two lines, line 3 and 4, where the verse is, the Little Darling part. Very straightforward, very easy. When you're on the E chord, typically in this song, whenever you're on that E chord, you can add this suspension in by dropping the pinky onto the second fret of the G string on the end of 2, like this typically. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. Lifting it up on 4. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. You can do that on probably every E chord in this song. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the first 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we get to a chorus, which is basically the exact same as the first 2 lines. Here comes the sun, D to B7 to A, and then the line again. Okay, when we're down on line 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, actually, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When we're down on line 7, that A chord and that E chord on line 7, that's just a turnaround. What I mean is he's not singing there. They're just playing there. A to E. The verse actually starts after that double line there. That's where the next verse would start, on that A to D to E. Okay? I'm going to go back once more and just revisit the A chord that goes into the melodic line. So that will take some practice. I'm talking like at the end of line 1 and the end of line 5, where you have that A chord going into that melodic section. So it's worth practicing that. Make sure you can make that 1, 2, and 4. And when you get to that, every time you get to that melodic line coming off that A chord, you have your A chord, you're playing that second fret. By the time you get to where that melodic line actually starts on the 4-2-0, you want to have, both of those fingers in place. And then so continuing on to the next page, more of the same. We have that melodic line again. Now we're getting ready to come into that interlude, that sun, 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 the one with the odd timing, the syncopated timing there. So we play the, I'll just play it from the top of page 2. I'll slow it down a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you recognize that part, but that's what you would play down here if you were playing rhythm guitar to this song. And so let's talk about how we're going to do that. I'm looking at line 2 on page 2. We got the A for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have the 2 strums. That's why I put those 2 lines. 1, 2. And then we just hold that E chord to play those next 3 notes, the 2, 1 open. What you want to do when you get to that open string on that E chord, that's when you kind of start moving over to this little C chord here. Open D, 4th fret, and then it goes right back to the A chord. I'm going to continue on to line 3. We have the 4 measures, one measure of A, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when we get to this next section encompassed by the repeat lines, we'll play that 5 times. That's where they repeat that sun, 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 here he comes. That's the 5 times that they say that. Okay? So we play that 5 times. The repeat line is actually down on the line 4. So it repeats from the first measure of line 4 back to the second measure of line 3. Okay? So I'm going to play it from the beginning of line 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Repeating. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Repeating. 1, 2. 5 times. After we've done that 5 times, then we just continue on with the E chord. So it'll be an E chord for a measure, to an E suspended, drop the pinky, back to an E, back to an E, then to an E7. We can simply lift the ring finger to make an E7 chord. Okay? and then it's going to go on to the next verse. So to make that a little bit clearer, I'm going to play it from the top of page 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. We get back into the more conventional part of the song, just going into the next verse, chorus, that same melodic line repeating. I basically have written it all the way out to the very end. I ran out of space, so let me tell you what happens at the very end, because this is actually the entire song written out. Looking at the last measure on page 2, we have 5-5. 5-5-3, 5-4-3. That's the same as the 1-2 third measure in line 2. So it's 5-5-3, 5-4-3. Then it'll end the same way with the 4-2-3, 0-4, and then the A chord. I'm going to go ahead and play it from the very beginning and play everything that is written here. Pick up this sheet of paper. So you'll have a play along. And once again, this will go right along with the recording. I'd recommend once you get the hang of this, actually going once again and playing along with the recording at whatever speed you can do it. And because that's really the best way to practice this. Okay? So here we are, we're playing rhythm guitar for the Beatles. Somebody's played that little introduction part and you're going to play rhythm. You're going to come in when George starts singing, Here Comes the Sun. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes this. Okay, so you notice what happens there on the very last line when we do that little melodic section for the last time. It combines the two sections, the two melodic sections. It combines the one that we're playing most often with the one from the interlude. I'm going to play that bottom line, and you just go from one right into the other. Now, what I was noticing in there, as I said, when you're going from the A chord into that melodic section where you have that 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes right into it. If you need to stop on 3 in order to do that, stop on 3. 1, 2, 3. You know, in order to keep the flow of the song going. 1, 2, 3. 4. Well, once again, I'm going to stress playing along with the recording is the best thing you can do. Once you kind of get your feet wet and you have a pretty good idea of what's going on here, playing along with the recording is priceless. It's really the best way to get the feel for the song and see how all of this works in with that. So hopefully that was clearly explained. If not, as you know, ask. Have a good one.